What if the 2008 crash never really ended? What if right now, it's still quietly haunting 20 US cities, draining life from communities that never fully recovered? Some towns lost half their home values, factories closed, jobs vanished overnight. And while most of America moved on, these cities were left behind. Imagine your hometown stuck in the past. Boarded up storefronts, collapsing schools, weeds growing where kids once played. For many, it wasn't a temporary hit. It was the beginning of a permanent decline. We went deep through data, old headlines, interviews, and drone footage to bring you the full list of the places still trapped in the wreckage. And the city at number 1, it's still fighting for breath. Picture this: shuttered factories, empty streets, for sale signs, local leaders with no answers, places frozen in time while the rest of the country talks about progress. If you're from one of these places or know someone who is, this might finally explain why everything still feels broken. In just a few minutes, we'll reveal the top 20 ghost cities of the crash and the lives still buried underneath. Because this isn't just history, it's a reminder that when the headlines fade, the people still remain. Want to find out if your city made the list? Stay with us and see what America forgot. When the 2008 crash hit, some cities never recovered. While other places moved on, these towns stayed stuck, losing homes, jobs, and hope. They've been trying to climb out ever since. At number 20 is Riverside, San Bernardino, California. This area was once one of the fastest growing places in the US, known as California's Inland Empire. But after the crash, everything changed. Thousands of homes were left empty, and families got stuck with huge mortgages they couldn't afford. Even today, new homes are being built, but many sit unsold. It's a strange mix of growth and failure. The battle is now between developers and abandoned neighborhoods. Number 19 is Stockton, California. This was the first big city in America to go bankrupt after 2008. City services like police, fire, and schools were cut. And even though officials said Stockton recovered, many locals still see broken systems. The real fight, it's between the people and the politicians over where the money went. At number 18 is Detroit, Michigan. Detroit was once the heart of the US auto industry, but after the crash, the city fell hard. In 2013, it went bankrupt, the biggest city ever to do so. Today, whole blocks are still empty. New tech jobs have come in, but many longtime residents are still unemployed. Since 1950, Detroit has lost over 1.2 million people. Number 17 is Flint, Michigan. Flint's pain didn't stop with the crash. The city then faced the water crisis, where families had unsafe drinking water for years. Even after federal help finally came, the damage was deep, trust was lost, and most homes still haven't gone back to their pre-2008 value. So if California and Michigan suffered this much, what happened to the other cities that once powered America? The crash didn't just hit housing markets, it broke the back of America's industrial heartland. What used to be the Steel Belt is now a line of economic scars. These cities built America's engines, railroads, and machines. But after the fall, most were left behind, forgotten by the very system they helped build. At number 16 is Youngstown, Ohio. Once a steel powerhouse, now it's a symbol of American decline. Generations were raised on union wages. Now many work fast food or leave town entirely. Comeback efforts? Mostly abandoned malls and empty downtown promises. The real conflict here is hope versus habit. People want change, but don't believe it's coming. It's no wonder Bruce Springsteen sang about it in Youngstown. Number 15 is Buffalo, New York. To outsiders, Buffalo looks like it's bouncing back. Tech startups, new buildings, even a downtown buzz. But locals know the truth. Poverty is still high, and new jobs often go to outsiders. Sleek condos sit blocks away from neighborhoods in crisis. The city's image has changed, but reality hasn't. At number 14 is Cleveland, Ohio. Rebranded as a healthcare and tech hub, but many residents don't feel the progress. There are more hospital expansions, but even healthcare workers rely on food stamps. Downtown is glowing, but outer neighborhoods are still crumbling. It's a battle between growth and fairness. Number 13 is East Street, Louis, Illinois. This city has one of the highest crime rates and lowest investments in America. Promises made in 2008 never showed up. Public transit was gutted, schools stripped of funding, and population decline made recovery even harder. This was once a jazz capital. Now it's fighting to survive. And if these cities had population, pride, and purpose. At number 12 is Gary, Indiana. Once powered by U.S. Steel, Gary is now a symbol of broken promises. Children grow up in crumbling homes, surrounded by abandoned schools that now serve as squats. Mayors have changed, but the problems haven't. Mismanagement and waste led the state to freeze funding. It's also the hometown of Michael Jackson, now turned into a cautionary tale. Number 11 is Saginaw, Michigan. A city that once had over 20 General Motors plants is now struggling to survive. At number 10 is St. Louis, Missouri. Downtown looks alive, but just a few miles away lies deep poverty and rising violence. Tech startups came and quickly left. One side of the city grows, the other fades. The divide is real, and so is the murder rate, which is higher per capita than Chicago. Number 9 is Toledo, Ohio. Toledo once had Midwest charm and big dreams, but the crash broke its momentum. Main Street shops are still closing, even years later. The auto industry gave brief relief, but nothing stuck. Locals say they've been waiting for a miracle since 2009. So if these places were once America's pride, what happened to the southern and heartland cities where pain was quieter, but just as deep? Outside the spotlight, some cities are quietly collapsing. While the coasts chase tech booms, parts of the South and Midwest are fighting battles most Americans never see. At number 8 is Decatur, Illinois. Once driven by agriculture and ethanol, it's now facing economic drought. Streets are so empty that some were literally bulldozed. As farms modernized and ethanol slumped, the jobs disappeared. Crime went up. Families left. Today, the only thing growing is population loss. Number 7 is Canton, Ohio. It's home to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. But beyond the tourists lies a shrinking city. The tension is real. Football pride masks deep poverty. People come for pictures, but most locals are struggling to stay. At number 6 is Akron, Ohio. This was once the rubber capital of the world, making a third of all U.S. tires. But when the factories left, so did the future. The university expanded, trying to revive things. But education didn't bring jobs. Parents lost homes. Kids now live in what's left of them. Number 5 is Birmingham, Alabama. Called the Pittsburgh of the South, it had booming steel and rail. Now, industry's gone, but the pollution stayed. New real estate projects are rising, but locals say the benefits skip over the city's heart. It's a battle of revival versus reality. At number 4, Rockford, Illinois was once a proud industrial force. Now it quietly leads the nation in unemployment. Locals call it the Forgotten City. It saw a brief robotics boom, but it vanished as quickly as it came. Despite its manufacturing roots, Rockford is now one of the most dangerous small cities in America, and more people are leaving than moving in. Next, at 3, Camden, New Jersey sits just across the water from booming Philly, yet feels like another world. The police department was disbanded and rebuilt from scratch. Outside, investors poured in, but the profits rarely stay. Locals feel rescued, yet sidelined. At 2, Memphis, Tennessee clings to its music legacy while its economy crumbles. Tourists flock to Elvis's Graceland, but public schools board up. The pride is real, but so is the neglect. And at 1, Baltimore, Maryland, a tale of two cities. Johns Hopkins shines while nearby blocks rot. More abandoned buildings here than anywhere. The divide, surgical. These 20 cities didn't bounce back. They were quietly buried. To heal a wound, you must first admit it still bleeds. Subscribe for more. Was your city on the list?